Today I want to show you how I made this beautiful strap just from a piece of webbing that I haven't used in a while simply because it was too thin to use for a strap. So I decided I would back it up with some faux leather. So here you can see the webbing tape. It's really pretty, but to make this a strap can be done, of course, but it's quite thin. So I want my straps to hold a lot of weight and to be durable. So I've chosen to back it up with this vinyl piece. And you'd also need, of course, two swivel clasps and a slider in the width of your webbing. So my webbing is 4 centimeters wide. So I will cut a piece of faux leather. And this piece, I'll cut it at full width and I'll mark the center. And I will cut it at 8 centimeters. That'll be 3 inches because it's double the size of what my webbing tape is. So of course you can use like double-sided tape or some fabric glue, but I usually make my straps like that. I just fold them to the center line and then secure them with clips. Then I realized I didn't like the edge of this webbing. I don't want to fold it over, so I'm simply going to trim this off on both ends and keep folding my fabric strip towards the center line. See, now the width of my strap is 4 centimeters as well. Next, I will cut a piece of the webbing. And I will cut this a bit longer than my faux leather piece. So the length of the webbing will be 5 centimeters longer on each end. So it should be 10 centimeters, 4 inches longer than the faux leather strip. Then I will simply arrange the side that I like better on top of my strap so the raw edges are hidden in the center. And I include this in my clips all the way along both side edges. This will take quite a while, but I don't use glue or tape. And then we can simply sew this together. So I will start where the two pieces meet, of course, and I will lock my stitch. And then I will top stitch along the side edges. And I will choose a long stitch length. It will be 4 millimeters to be exact. And then I will simply sew the two pieces together. And don't worry, I made this a lot quicker. I don't actually sew that fast. Now I'm getting to the end of the first stitch line, so I will simply stitch to the side then when I'm right at the end and go back. So when this line is finished, of course you can leave your strap like that, but what I personally really like is when the whole webbing piece is attached to it a bit. It gives a firmer finish, let's say like that. If you would top stitch this a couple of more times, just along the center maybe, or like I did, I think I've added 4 more stitch lines to the back. And since I can't really see the top stitching from the front because of the design of my webbing, I will simply top stitch this from the other side so I can see exactly where I'm stitching. And I will take the width of my sewing foot as a guide right next to the line that I've stitched already. But this is totally up to you. You can decide if you want to add some more lines to it, if you stitch it together like I did or not. I did this like maybe, I think 4 more lines I've added. And it gives like a really nice finish to the strap because it's a lot stronger like that and more firmer. So here you can see all the top stitching that I've did. So I'm gonna trim this off and then I will put a slider on the end of my webbing. So thread the slider on and then fold the webbing, which is longer than your faux leather piece. Fold it over so the raw edges are gonna be hidden. Fold it over to the raw edge, fold over again, and then fold the two pieces together and secure this with stitches. You could also use some fray check if you like. If you have a webbing that will melt, like when it's from polyester, you can use a lighter to seal the edges. Then I will put a swivel clasp on and thread the end through the slider again. Then I realized my webbing is way too long at the end, so this will be a bit of a waste. It only needs to end over the edges for about 5 centimeters, 2 inches. That's fairly enough, to just fold it over and to sew this in place. So the first swivel clasp is on, the webbing went through the slider again, and then you put on the second swivel clasp. And now you can see how I've wasted like maybe a few centimeters of my webbing because this is too much, so I trim it. And then I will fold it so the raw edges is hidden again. Like I said, you can use some fray check or melt it down, but this is a cotton. So you see all the folds here, and then I will fold it over again and secure this with stitches as well. And that's already it. That's the whole thing. That was done really quick, maybe like 20 minutes. And it really gives your strap like a nice extra look. And it's very durable and perfect for heavier bags. Of course, I need to clip it on and see it on the back right now. I hope you like this quick tutorial. Maybe you like to try this too if you find some leftover webbing in your closet. See you next time. Bye bye.